You have an important interview coming up. It's time to get prepared for it. Hey YouTube, this is LaShawn Wiley with the Science of Managing, and today's episode we are going to prepare you for that important interview that's coming up, that job interview that you're really looking to make a great impression with a recruiter or hiring manager. I am going to give you guys some insight and 5 important things to kind of keep in mind when sitting down for that job interview, whether it's in person or over the phone. This video is being brought to you by Pathway Life Coach Services. Go ahead and hit them up if you're trying to do some interview prep, or if you need an unbiased opinion, or there's some goals that you're trying to reach, or a rut that you're stuck in. Go ahead and hit them up. Really good people. That's www.pathwaylifecoach.com. All right, so let's get right into it. I'm going to give you guys 5 things to keep in mind when it comes to sitting down for that important interview. Number 1. Don't lie. Okay. This is one of the worst things you want to do during an interview is get caught in a lie. I know it's kind of common sense when I say don't lie, but I have to say it because some people try to exaggerate or make themselves look like something that they're not. And that's not really what you want to do during an interview. A good recruiter will be able to sniff out a lie because it will stand out to them. They know what they're doing when they're sitting down speaking with you. When I was a recruiter, and I was a recruiter for several companies over my 25-year span in management, I had an opportunity to do hundreds and if not thousands of interviews. And whenever I would catch a person in a lie, I wouldn't say, "Ha, got you in a lie." No, you're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're just going to catalog that lie in their head. They're just going to push right past it. They may do a follow-up question to try to gain clarity to make sure that they're not making a mistake. But trust me, they're going to know if you're saying something that just simply doesn't add up. So don't lie during your interview. You don't want to get caught in a lie. Okay. All right. Number 2, relax and be yourself. As a recruiter, I was more interested in the individual that was sitting in front of me, not necessarily the stuff that's on a resume. Now, the items on the resume and your work experience and your qualifications, yes, that stuff is important. But something that I would argue that's even more important than that is who you are as a person. Now, if you're a bad person, and during that interview, it's going to come up that you're a bad person. I'll give you a real quick example. I used to ask this question a lot, and this will tell me a lot about a person's character. The question was, tell me about a time where you did the right thing and no one was paying attention to the fact that you did the right thing. I'm interested in knowing what that thing was and why you did it. Now, a good example for an answer to this question would be I was at a gas station and I saw a person drop a $20 bill while I was in line. And I picked it up and I gave it to him and I let him know, "Hey, you dropped this $20. Now, I didn't have to do that, but I did it because it was the right thing to do. Now, in that answer, it kind of lets them know that I am an honest person and I'm willing to do the right thing, even if no one is paying attention. The worst answer is to say, "I really don't have an answer to that question." It kind of says a lot about you if you can't think of not one example of a time where you did the right thing and no one was paying attention. So you want to be if you're a good person, and I hope you're a good person, let that person shine, let that person come to the surface and show. You want to relax and you want to just be who you are and let your real, genuine personality show. It's okay to be a little bit nervous. Recruiters expect that. They expect you to be a little nervous and they expect you to warm up after the initial 1 or 2 questions. So to further into the interview, they do expect you to relax. Because if you're nervous from beginning to end, that can make them wonder if you're going to be the right person for their organization. All right, so let's jump to number 3. Do your research. Now, this is it's a common sense type of deal here that you should know a little bit about the position that you're interviewing for and the company that you're interviewing with. If you don't know anything about their history, like when the company was formed, who the current CEO is, what their mission statement is, if you don't know those basic questions, then that can reflect poorly on you during an interview. I'm not saying that the interviewing manager is going to ask you, hey, when was our company formed? Or who's the current CEO? They're not going to ask you questions like that. But it's good to know that information because you never know during one of your answers, it may become something that's relevant that you need to slide in. So do your research, know about the company, know definitely about the position that you're interviewing for, and hopefully it's a position that you're qualified to do. Now, if you don't have work experience in the area that you're for the position that you're interviewing for, but you think you're still qualified, then don't pretend like you've done that job before, because once again, you'll get caught in a lie, and that is not what you want to do. Let them know maybe some of your past work experience, how it relates to the job you're applying for, so that you can make the connection and help them see how you are, in fact, qualified to do that job. Okay? So do your homework, do your research. Number four, smile and make good eye contact. You want to constantly smile through the interview. This will reflect that you are, in fact, a good person, a happy person, a satisfied, content person who is naturally in a good mood and have high spirits. Who wants Debbie Downer, who's always sad? No one wants that. All right. No one wants that in their organization, even if it's not a customer facing job that you're applying for. If you're a boss, you want employees who are in a good mood, who brings positive energy, and who can help the team reach certain goals. You don't want Debbie Downer on your team. You just don't want that. So smile, be pleasant, relax. It's okay to be nervous at the beginning, but eventually relax, be yourself, and make good eye contact. Now, what I mean by eye contact is I'm not saying have a staring contest with the person, break away every now and then, make it feel natural. But when you're answering, make good eye contact because that is a sign of sincerity. That's a sign of you being genuine in your answers and truthful in your answers. Now, if you're asked to recall a situation, it's okay to kind of put your head up a little bit as you try to recall the details of a particular incident. But if you're answering a basic question and you're kind of looking up, that kind of indicates that you're accessing your memory. You're going based on memorization, and basic questions should not be based on that. If you're being honest, so recruiters will pick up on that if they see that your answers are a little too rehearsed. You don't want them to sound rehearsed. You want them to be genuine, even though you are going to rehearse your answers. You want your answers to be free flowing and genuine, and you want to give the appearance of being spontaneous with your answers. You don't want to come off as you reciting something that you memorized. Okay. Okay, so let's go to number five. Number five is important. And once you understand how to use number five effectively, you are going to leave a great lasting impression on the person who's interviewing you. Number five is tell your story. All right, this is a concept that's really important. Um, Tell your story simply means understanding that your life and your work history is, there's some great things buried in there, and you want to share and highlight those things during the course of your interview. Now, think of every answer as a 1 or 2 minute commercial advertising you as a product. Interviews are a great time to promote the great qualities that you have about yourself. You want to use each question as a 1 or 2 minute commercial about the greatness of you, what makes you perfect for the job. It's okay to share and highlight some great successes of your life. That's what you're supposed to do during an interview. Some people are bashful, they don't want to sound like they're bragging, but that's not what this is about. You do want to share and highlight the great qualities. when you're using this technique of telling your story, you obviously want to answer the question that's being asked. So maybe in this example, I'll say the question is, name a time where you helped a struggling coworker. Well, your answer could be something like, I remember when I was working at Starbucks, there was an employee who had trouble steaming milk for lattes. So I showed them a couple of tricks, and before you know it, they were known as the best latte maker in the store. Later on, that person even told the manager that I was the one who showed them how to use a particular technique to make great lattes. And I believe that is what led me to getting promoted up to, I don't know, assistant manager, whatever the example is. Okay. So in my example, I'm not only showing how I helped another employee become a better employee, I also show how I was recognized for doing so and earned a promotion. So I'm advertising some great things that happened to me, some success stories, while answering the question that was asked and keeping it within 1 or 2 minutes. So that's how you tell your story. Because at the end of the interview, if you do this successfully, the interviewer, the recruiter, is going to walk away knowing a lot of qualities that you actually have. They're going to know a lot of your success stories. They're going to know a lot about you, and that's the whole point of an interview, is to get to know you as a person and to get to know your story. So don't be afraid to tell your story during your interview. So those are the 5 things you want to keep in mind when sitting in on an interview. I'll briefly go over them real quick. Number 1, don't lie. Number 2, relax and be yourself. Number 3, do your research about the company or the position you're interviewing for. Number 4, go ahead and smile and make good eye contact without a stare down. And number 5, tell your story. Don't be afraid to share your successes and let them know who you are. You guys succeed in life, no excuses. Until next time, I'll see you later.